9 points in 12 games, 60-point pace, Dan. Not bad. I mean, more than what he did last year. But I don't know, man. Did it feel like Elias Lindholm was about to drop 60, 65 points on you this year the way he's been playing so far?
After the first few games, you thought, maybe he could have that in him. But, it kind of cooled off a little bit. You didn't hear too much about him. Maybe he's, doing stuff defensively that doesn't pop up on the score sheet. But
Sure,
he
and
did
always
cool
a good
off a
defensive
bit.
forward, by the way. Always a good defensive
Yeah.
forward. Like,
Yeah.
it should be said.
So he was playing a little bit not as good as he played the first week. And, he's on that top line with two, should we say it? 2 50-goal scorers?
I mean, 2 of the best goal scorers in the NHL. Like, anyway, like, what was it since? There's a great Bruins tweet. Is it since January 12th or something? Like a very specific date where clearly Morgan Geekie scored 2 goals in one game or something. Since January 12th, nobody in the National Hockey League has more goals than Morgan Geekie. And on the other side is a top 5 forward in the league. Like, if you're not at a 60-point pace by just existing with these guys, then you probably shouldn't be in the National.
No, and this is one thing you could look forward to this season is Geekie's on I think he scored, I'm not sure the exact stat, but he scored like 8 goals last year, and he scored his 8th goal in December. He's already eclipsed that early November, so that's something to monitor. Everyone's saying 50. I'd be happy with 40.
50. 40 would
maybe
be okay.
60.
If you can get 40 at what's the number this year? 6.5. Is that it? If you can get 40 goals out of Morgan Geekie from that, I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be all right. I'll sleep okay.
That contract will age just like Pasternak's if that's the case. If he's a consistent, 35 plus, 40 possibly, maybe 50. I joked, let's sign him to another extension.
Let's do it. I'm in for the 50-goal season, Morgan Geekie. Even if the center of that line is Marat Husnudinov, because he's the guy who I think the game before the Elias Lindholm injury, he was a healthy scratch, and then the next game he's 1C, scores an overtime winner last week. This is a dude who I've said this about a couple of Bruins in the last year. I really want Marat Husnudinov to be good. Because I really want his name on the back of a jersey and like have it go down both my shoulder blades. Marat Husnudinov. Is this kid a player? Like, can this kid actually? I thought he would have been a nice 4th line energy speed guy, not like gritty as it were, but like has a bit of a scoring touch, or at least he did throughout his pre-NHL days. Has a ton of speed. Can the Bruins kind of keep status quo? Can they keep winning games the way they're winning games if Marat Husnudinov is your number 1 center?
I think it's good to try it out, see how he plays with better players. I agree with you. I don't think he's your future 1C. Like, let's not trade James Higgins because we have Marat on the middle right now.
At least think about it. At least think about it first. Yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of pictured him maybe as a 3rd liner. If he played pretty well on the 4th, you saw his speed; it was evident, and you think, is he too skilled to be on the 4th line? So I thought his kind of ceiling was a 3rd line guy. It's good to see him playing with better guys.
Do like
but
that.
Do you want him to be blocking, some of the younger guys in Providence, or guys like that? I'm not sure, but I think it's good to see him, play out to his potential with top line, but he's not your 1C. He's not your 2C. I think he could be a good 3rd liner. And you got benched, and it's good to see him respond. He had the OT winner. He's been playing well. And guys that have been getting benched lately, like Marat, Swayman kind of got a little benching. He stuck with Corpy for 2 straight games. Mm-hmm. I think that kind of could have lit a fire under Swayman. Swayman came back and had a great game against the Canes. So I kind of like what Sturm's doing with hey, like if you're not playing good, you're going to ride the bench, and, hopefully that lights a fire on you, and we'll have to wait and see how Lowry responds to that.
I do want to talk about Lowry in depth in a second here. But when we talk about this number 1 center role, we've already done it once in the 5 episodes of this podcast. We'll have to address it again. Like, when is the path clear for Matt Poitras to be playing center for this team. Like, Elias Lindholm's hurt. You're putting Husnudinov on the first line. Obviously, Patrick's not a first-line center in the NHL, but neither is Marat Husnudinov. And this Providence team, wagon, absolute wagon down there at the dunk. They're nice, but Matt Poitras just can't find his way into the lineup. It's a guy who was on the fringe of making the team this year after making the team out of camp the last 2 years. And his buddy Fraser Minton, who plays the same position, is getting minutes every night. He's third line center every night. And Matt Poitras can't break this lineup. Like, when are we going to see this dude? This is kind of frustrating.
Yeah. And, I think he's frustrated too. I think was that his first career fight in Providence?
I did see that. How about that,
yesterday?
Dude? You chucked him a little bit.
So it's good to see some emotion out of him. I think he won the fight. But going into the season, you kind of hoped he made it out of camp, but Neely and Sweeney signed too many bottom six guys to block it. Now, the way it works, I said it earlier, you're going to have to wait for an injury or a trade to pop up to clear the way for him. And that injury happened, and he didn't get called up for that. So, right now it's looking like at the trade deadline, the Bruins may trade some people away, and that's when Poitras comes up.
At this point, you got to think Matt Poitras is on that list right now. Like, we're a ways away, and we don't know what the situation is going to be with the Bruins, but when they've looked good this season, when they've looked bad this season, and overall through 14 games when they've been pretty friggin' mid, there's been no way for Matt Poitras to crack the lineup. And I said it as a bold prediction before this season that's looking less and less bold of like Matthew Poitras just might get traded here. It's not that he's not going to be a good player or anything, but clearly they just don't have a lot of trust in him, and they don't have a ton of trade chips. Last year they did, right? Like last year they did. They had Brandon Carlo, they had Charlie Coyle, they had one of the best goal scorers in the league and Justin Brazeau. And they had Brad Marchand, and those guys were all trade pieces. You didn't want to trade them, but they had value. You could get something in return. Right now, they really struggle in that department, especially for young guys. And Matthew Poitras could be one that we see go out the door because of it.